Hello, friends. Good evening. I'm really sorry. Actually, my voice cord got disconnected, so I had to, take this session again. I was talking about a great book which is called as Atomic Habits. Let me tell you, my dear friends, this is one of the greatest books I have ever read, and I love to read it again and again. Even if you ask me to read it 10 times, I would love to go through that. Let me tell you, this is such a fantastic book that, you would feel reading it anytime, irrespective of your mood, irrespective of anything. So this is a book which is written by James Clear, and the title of the book is Atomic Habits. Let me tell you, my dear friends, this book focuses on the importance of tiny changes, specifically, to create remarkable results in your day-to-day life. This book is basically divided into some subparts, which I would like to introduction before I go get into the all those headers. The introduction of this atomic book specifically confines around the consistent small actions which leads to big changes over a period of time. Like what this book talks about is that all your small habits, all your small events which usually do, they lead to building into a big habit, and that eventually becomes your character. Like for example, if you start reading 10 pages of a book daily, it will result in reading several books per year. So it's a small habit of reading 10 pages daily. Now, second example I would like to quote is walking 15 minutes each day. That can significantly improve your health over a period of time. What it means that imbibing small habits in your day-to-day routine will give you a very big change that you will not even come to know. So you must have heard about power of compounding, something which is in finance, which says that when you deposit small amount, but on a regular interval of time, the amount of amount which you invest becomes such a large amount over a period of time. So that is what is the basic essence and purpose of this particular book. So the power of habit books book talks about that habits are actually the compound interest of your self improvement. It says you will have to just bring small changes when repeated over time, that will become significant and notable. Even a small thing which you are doing today might not be noticed by anybody, but over a period of time, if you continue to remain same, if you continue to do and continue to repeat the same thing, possibly over a period of time you will see there is a significant change. Now, for example, which I told you just now, that saving a small amount of money daily can grow into a substantial saving over a period of time. The second example I would like to give you is that practicing a skill for a few minutes daily can lead to mastery over that particular skill. So, friends, the overall essence of this particular book is that you need to work on the small events, small habits which you are doing. But only thing is, those events should be supported with the persistency, supported with consistency in whatever you're doing. Then the author talks about a very interesting thing that is called as the habit loop. You know, now let me explain what is this habit loop. He said the habit loop is basically, a kind of craving, response, or a reward. Now you will say, I know you will get bit confused, but let me simplify it. So it is a kind of cue you get, then you start craving for that, and when you start craving for that, you actually try to respond, and when you try to respond over that, you get the reward. So this is a kind of habit loop. Let me explain it further, okay? But before that, understanding this loop will help in creating and breaking your habits. So if you can actually create your habits, or you can break your habit by understanding this loop, this is so very important, friends. Those people who are really interested in bringing significant change in your personality, I think this is the right book for all of you. You must go through this particular book, and if you don't have time, so people like us can give you the complete summary of this particular book. So understanding this loop will help you definitely creating and building your habits, and you will see a significant change in yourself. Let me give you an example. So the cue is phone notification. What is the phone notification? You are sitting and there's a pop-up in your phone, maybe of WhatsApp, maybe of SMS. So the The another is craving. Craving is social interaction. Response is checking phone, and the reward is feeling connected. So this is what it started with a cue. What is that cue? You got a notification on your phone, then you start craving. So let me see what is in it. So you see that there is a social interaction. Then you start responding. You check the phone, and then you feel rewarded, that you feel connected. Like for example, you have sent a message to your friend. He has replied to your message. Then it's a cue. Then it's a kind of social interaction. Then the response is you start checking the phone, and the reward is you feel that you have been your question has been responded by your friend. So that is the habit loop. Okay, now let me put it another way. When you the cue is feeling stressed, right? The craving is relaxation, and the response is eating junk food. Reward is temporary relief. So when you feel stressed, what do? You try to find out a relaxation thing. How do you do that? You feel that, let me eat popcorn, let me see a movie, let me eat cold drink or a pizza or a burger, and that is how you try to make yourself comfortable, try to come out of that stress. So the reward is a temporary relief. So that is a kind of habit loop which you build, which usually starts with a very small cue. Okay. Now let me tell you a very interesting rule that is called as 1% rule. This book is really very interesting in changing your whole overall personality. So this 1% rule says that if you improve yourself by just 1% every day, I'm repeating, if you focus on bringing improvement in yourself just 1% every day, it can give you a significant gain over a period of time. And what is that significant gain? What it is saying is that when you bring small improvements, that actually adds up exponentially. I'm repeating, that will actually add up exponentially in bringing a significant change in your overall personality. Let me quote it with the example. It says the 1% rule says that when you exercise a bit more each day, that leads to better fitness. That leads to making yourself quite attractive, and you will feel rejuvenated every time you go for exercising. The second example is learning a new word daily that will enhance building your vocabulary, and that too significantly. So it is a kind of 1% rule. Whatever you're doing, my dear friends, whichever field you are in, or whatever is your hobby, only thing, if you really want to improve on things, you will have to do one thing. What is that one thing? Like for example, if my communication is not good, and if I take challenge to myself that every day I will work just 1% on my communication, so that is a kind of challenge which I have taken. Or suppose if I am fatty, so I will always give a challenge to myself that I will have to work for just 1% reduction of my weight. I know it is difficult in a day, but you can take it like in 7 days you will go for, or 10 days you will go for just 1% reduction of your weight, which means if you are 80 kgs, so you will have to focus on only 800 grams. In a month, I will go for 800-gram reduction. So that is a kind of 1% rule, but it is confined to daily. Like if you focus on bringing 1% improvement in your overall persona, you will find a significant change. And let me tell you, my dear friends, it says that if you bring 1% change over a period of 365 days, which means a year, do you know how much percentage change you can bring in yourself? Just guess. It is more than 37%, 37 times, not percent, times. Like for example, if you have 1 rupee, it will become 37 rupees. This is called as power of compounding. And it has happened just bringing 1% change in yourself every day. Now, let me talk to you about identity based habits. It says when you focus on type of person you wish to become, not just the outcomes. So, what you have to do is you will have to focus on whatever type of person you wish to become. Like, for example, somebody wants to be a great software engineer, somebody wants to be a great marketer, somebody wants to be a great tutor, somebody wants to be a great scientist, whatever you want to become. So, what you have to do is you have to focus on the type of person you wish to become, not just the outcomes. So, that for that, building identity based habits will align your actions and belief. So, what you have to do is you will have to build identity based habits which will align your actions with your beliefs. That is what you have to, what is the need of the hour. Let me give you example to clarify this particular point. So instead of saying I want to read more, say I'm a reader. So you're giving your challenge to yourself. So instead of saying I want to be fit, say I'm a healthy person. So what happens is in this process, when you start saying that you are this, you are that, like I'm a reader, I'm a healthy person, I'm a good spokesperson, I'm a good commuter, I'm a good teacher, I'm a good software engineer. Instead of saying that I want to be a good communicator, I want to be a good reader, I want to be a good tutor, I want to be a good scientist, I want to be a good software engineer, say I am a software engineer, whatever it is. So identify the based habits. It says that you will have to start building on building identity based habits which will align your actions with your beliefs. Now let me jump into the next point, that is your the 2 minute rule. It says start new habits with action that take less than 2 minutes. Now you will say what is that? So let me put it in a very simple way. Let me repeat it first. Start new habits with actions that take less than 2 minutes. What it means, this makes this makes it easier to begin and maintain new habits. Now, what is how do I go? How do I put it in front of you? Like read one page of a book to build a reading habit. I told you in the beginning that you will have to bring small changes. That is the overall essence of this particular book. That's how the title Atomic Habits. Atom is the smallest part of any element. You have seen, you have read chemistry. So what is the smallest part? That is atom. So that is why it is saying atomic habits, the smallest habit. So you will have to start from reading one page of a book to build a reading habit. You will have to put on workout clothes to build an exercise habit. What you have to do is put on workout clothes because that will give you stimulus. When you get into jogging clothes and when you put on sport shoes, you yourself will feel quite energetic in order to go for a workout. That kind of changes you will have to bring. Then environmental design. So you will have to shape your environment to support your desired habits. What you have to do is you will have to shape your environment to support your desired habit. How? Make good habits easier and bad habits harder. Now you will say, how can I do that? Like, but before that, I'll give you an example. Like, place healthy snacks in visible places. Like for example, if you start craving for cold drink, if you start craving for chips, what you have to do is you will not have to, and you will have to ensure that you don't put this chips and cold drink at the visible places. Put all those diet snacks, healthy snacks in the visible places. So what will happen is you're actually changing the environment. That is how you will be able to change your habits. Next point, remove distractions like turning off notification to focus better. For example, like you really want to focus on something and you feel that distracted whenever there's a phone which start drinking, or there's a light which start popping up, whatever notification you have put in. So what will happen is you will have a lot of distractions on the. So what you have to do is, if you really want to change those habits, you will have to change the environment. How do you do that? You will have to put off the notifications. Similarly, when I told you that if you have something bad habit and you are not getting out of it, so what you will do is you will have to change the environment. You will have to ensure that whatever you are doing or whatever is actually letting you to crave, so those things you will have to ensure that you change the environment, and that is how eventually things will change. Your habits will change. That is the overall purpose of this changing the environment. Now next point is make it obvious. What do you mean by make it obvious? It says the clarity of intention is the key to habit formation. What does it mean? It says clarity of intention is key to habit formation. Let me put it in a very simple way. It says clarify. I said clarify, define the cue that triggers your habit. So you will have to see what is that bad habit you have, and for that, what bad habit, what is that cue? Let me put it other way around. Suppose I'm a smoker. I'm just putting hypothetical. I'm not a smoker, but I'm just putting a hypothetical example that I'm a smoker. And what leads to induction of mind towards smoking? It could be anything. It could be stress. It could be some kind of relaxation when I want it, or it could be anything. So that is a clue. So what you have to do is, what he is saying is, set your workout clothes out for the night before you get into the sleep. So example, keep a water bottle on your desk to drink water more. And similarly, if you are a smoker, you will have to ensure that you don't buy a cigarette. So if you don't buy a cigarette, it is not easily available. What you have to do is, suppose you are in the office and you want a relaxation, you want a smoking break, and it is not there in the pocket, or it is not there in your bag. What is the other alternative? You will have to go and buy it. And suppose you are not in a situation to go and buy, then what will happen? You are forcing yourself. You're forcing yourself to accept that it is obvious I cannot go out, and that is how you will be able to change your habit. That is one of the good ways by which you can actually drop out all those bad habits which you have. Then make it attractive. That's the next part. It says that, like, pair habits with things you enjoy to make them more appealing. How do you pair those habits with things you enjoy? Like, find ways to make your habits more enjoyable. For example, listen to books while exercising. Listen to music while you're doing exercise. So it is like, pairing your two good habits. So what do you what do you get out of it? Like, for example, if I want to, listen soothing music, so if I'm pairing music with exercise, I'm doing two good things at one go. So that is a kind of, pairing the habits. So reward yourself with a treat after completing a task. So for example, how to make it attractive and how to pair it. Like, for example, if I've done this presentation, if I've made this presentation, I'll go and have a small break of lassi, maybe, or I'll go and have a small break of chocolate, or I will go and have a small break of nimbu pani, whatever you like. Okay. So that is the reward which you will give it to yourself once you have done the successful completion of your task. So what it says is, you will have to make it attractive by pairing two good habits, so that whenever you think of going for a gym, think of music. When you think of music, you will think of going for the gym. So when you club those habits, you will be able to make yourself much more changeable. So then it comes to the next point, that is, make it easy. What do you mean by make it easy? It says you need to reduce the friction in performing your habits. What it means? It means that you will have to simplify the process to increase consistency. Now, how do you do that? Let me put the example of prepare meals in advance to eat healthier. So, what will happen? Suppose if you want to eat healthier, prepare that meal in advance, so that whenever you feel hungry, you will have the ready food in the form of healthier food. So that is the kind of make it easy. Like, for example, you wish to always have healthy breakfast, but the problem is you don't land up in making it. So what do? You get up early in the morning, prepare the healthy breakfast. Whether you wish to take it right away or not, that's secondary, but prepare it, so that whenever you feel like hungry, you can go and have that breakfast. So that is make it easy. That will reduce the friction, that will reduce the apprehension in performing that habit. I believe you're getting those points. It's saying lay out materials needed for a task the night before. Like, for example, tomorrow morning you need to go for a gym. Okay, so prepare yourself in the night itself. Keep the tracksuit ready, keep sports shoes ready, keep your bag ready, keep your water bottle ready, so that when you get up in the morning, everything is ready. So you will feel quite comfortable. So why you will feel quite comfortable? Because you have made everything easy before time. That is what he says, that's how you can change the habit. Now, make it satisfactory. What do you mean by make it satisfactory? It says that immediate rewards reinforce the habit loop. What do you mean by that? It says find ways to make habits immediately gratifying. Now, how you can make your habit immediately gratifying? Example is, use a habit tracker to visually see your progress. Like, for example, you are going for a walk, so keep that distance meter with you. On your mobile, you can download the application, or there are certain gadgets which are available which will tell you how much distance you have traveled, how much steps you have taken, what was your speed, and all that. So what is happening in this process? You are actually instantly rewarding your good habit. So first of all, you have imbibed that habit of going to the gym, going for the walk. You have started going for the walk, but carry on that gadget with you. So that will give you instant reward, that this is how 2000 steps you have covered, or the speed which you have covered is a 5 kilometer per hour or 6 kilometer per hour. So that will give you satisfying and immediate reward, which will reinforce your habit loop. That is what it is. Let me put another example. He says you will have to treat yourself with a small reward after a successful habit completion. That is something which is very much required. If you really want to change your habits, small habits, you will have to keep rewarding yourself. Then the next point, the plateau of latent potential. What do you mean by plateau of latent potential? It says habits often don't show immediate results. So always don't expect that you should not continuously expecting that if today I have imbibed this habit, today only I'll get the result. No, going for a gym cannot make you uh, you know cannot transform you from obese to a thin person. or a lean person? Can it? No. So you will have to make it. You will have to substantiate it with the persistency and the kind of devotion which you have to put in order to transform that habit into actionable desired goal. Okay. So habits often don't show immediate results. So how do you go about that? It says persistence through the plateau leads to breakthrough. For example, working out regularly without immediate visible changes, but eventually seeing significant fitness gain. Like, for example, you have a friend who is staying with you today and he goes for a 3 months break. And within these 3 months, you started working out. Probably within 3 months, you may or may not notice that change in you, but after that 3 months, once your friend will come back, he can actually see a significant change because for you, the change has happened every day, and you may not be able to notice that. But for your friend, it is after the 3 months which he is able to see you. That is why he will be able to see that significant change in you. Okay. Now let me put it another example. Studying consistently without immediate improvement, but eventually you will master your academics. So it is not a one day job of studying before the examination and going to the examination, giving the examination and expecting to be a topper in the class. That's really something which seems hypothetical. But for really topping the class, you will have to study consistently, that too without expecting immediate improvement. But eventually, you will master whatever academics you are in. Then there is a rule which is called as Goldilocks rule. I'm repeating, there is a rule which is called as Goldilocks rule. It says task should be at the optimal difficulty level for maximum motivation. What do you mean by that? I'm repeating. Task should be at the optimal difficulty level for maximum motivation. It says you will have to challenge, which means challenges should be neither too easy nor too hard. For example, increase the difficulty of a workout as you get fitter. For example, when you go to a gym, don't start doing a workout with 50 kgs of dumbbell. Can you do that? It will instantly demotivate you. Start with 1 kgs of dumbbell and increase it 1 kg every day. After 50 days, maybe 2 months, you will be able to push and pull those 50 kgs of dumbbells. What is that Goldilocks rule? It says the task should be at the optimal difficulty level, which means whatever habit you want to inculcate in yourself, it should not be, you should not start expecting the highest level, which is the final destiny of that. For example, I told you when you go to a gym and your final destination is I will do a push up with the, or a, I'll do a dumbbells of 100 kg. That's the final destination. But you will have to start with 1 kgs. Okay. So you will have to increase the difficulty of your workout as you get fitter. Then gradually tackle more complex problems as you learn. That's Goldilocks rule. Then he talks about accountability. He said that having someone to check in with increases habit success. How do we go about that? External accountability boosts commitment. Example, work out with a friend to stay consistent. What he's saying is you are accountable or your friend is accountable when you request him that whenever I'm thinking of going to the gym, let us go to the gym every day and hit the exercise instruments. So that person who is having someone to check in with increased habit success, which means he's actually contributing in stimulating your habit, that you will have to be consistent in order to go to the gym. So work out with a friend to stay consistent. Share your goals with a mentor or a coach, because mentor will continue to motivate you. That is going to help you change your habits. Then it is tracking progress. How do you track your progress? He says that monitoring habits will help maintain focus and motivation. How do you go about that? He says track your habits to understand and improve them. For example, use a journal to log daily activities. You utilize apps to track progress in real time. Like, for example, I told you that if you are using an app which will give you how many steps you have covered last week, then what is the improvement on daily basis. So that is called as tracking base progress. You will have to continue tracking your progress so that you should be able to see the kind of improvement in your whatever habit you have imbibed in. Let me jump to the next point, that is designing for failure. So my dear friends, it is not always success which you should be expecting, you should be having a plan for designing your failure. So prepare for setbacks to recover quickly, because I believe when you fail, you to me there is a phrase which says that the winner is not the one who has won in one jump. The winner is the one who has fallen multiple times and has won after so many failures. So he is the final winner. So that is a kind of stuffy kind of stuff which I have just added to my communication. So designing for failure is like prepare for setbacks to recover quickly. So you will have to anticipate changes and plan accordingly. For example, if you miss a workout, schedule the next appointment on an immediate basis. Like for example, you are going to the gym every day and you are not able to go today. So what you can do is there are two things. One, you're going at 6 p.m. in the evening. Why don't you go 6 a.m. in the morning tomorrow? Because that will help minimizing that gap. So you will have to design your failure in such a manner that you set back you prepare for the setbacks at the earliest. Like for example, if you overeat, adjust the next meal to balance. If you have taken a lot of good stuff in the meal, so doesn't mean that you cannot wave off this mistake which you have done. You can always go for a kind of fast or maybe a kind of very light diet which usually you don't take on a usual schedule. So you can curtail on the next diet, next meal, in order to balance that. So that is called as designing for the failure. So preparing for the setbacks or a quicker recovery. Then the next point is the role of a family and a friend. What do you mean by that? It is social environment which will influence your habits. How do you go about that? It says surround yourself with supportive people, because when you surround yourself with your family, friends who are quite supportive to you, possibility for you to have a social environment influence in your habit is going to be very high. For example, join a fitness group to stay motivated. With this, what will happen is you will have 10 more people who are actually in race with you to be better than you. So in that competitive environment, in that race, you will get self motivation. So it's a kind of role of family and friend which will have a social environment influence habits in order to build your habit. Like for example, share your goals with supportive friends. When you continue sharing your goals, like if you want to be an IES, so you continue to talk to other people. You are studying for IES, you're preparing for IES, you want to be an IES. So this IES, you let everybody know that you want to be an IES. So what will happen is when you even if you want to forget, you will not be able to forget, because you have told so many people, you have conveyed the same message to tons of the time to multiple people. That will reinforce and that will act as a social environment which will influence you to continue remembering that you have to pass through the exam called IAS. That's the another way of building habit. Then the impact of identity. It says your identity shapes your habits and vice versa. What do you mean? It says align your habits with your desired identity. For example, if you see yourself as a writer, you will write regularly. If you identify as a healthy person, you will make healthier choices. So impact of identity is something which you have to put it in your habit. You will have to identify your shape. Like for example, I told you that I want to be a fitter person. Even if I cross 50, I want to look like a 30 years old guy. So for that, what will happen is if you identify your ambition and a goal, you will make your choices quite healthier. Even if you wish to take junk food, or if you even if you wish to skip on your evening walk or a morning walk, it will not allow you to do so, because you have actually focused on in order to identify your shape, which has actually transformed into your habit. Now, the next point is the compound effect of habits. What is the compound effect of habits? Small changes compound over time for significant result. How do I explain it? Consistency leads to exponential growth. So let me put it with example. Like for example, I told you that saving a small amount of money daily will grow into significant amount that even you don't know. That's called as the eighth wonder of the world, which I say eighth wonder of that's power of compounding. And then regularly practicing a skill which will lead to expertise on that particular subject. Then the next part, if you really want to change your habit, is focus on systems, not goals. Because if you focus on your systems are more effective than setting goals. How? Because you optimize your system for a better result. For example, create a study schedule rather than just aiming for good grades. What will happen is I will always like I'm taking the example. I'm just putting the example of a student who wish to clarify an EET. Take the example of my daughter. She wants to clarify the NEET, which is the entrance examination post 12th. Okay, so if she focuses on the final outcome that I want to crack IIT, so that may or may not work. But if she's focusing on building her study schedule, that this is how I will have to study, this is how I will have to break my study into reading books, listening to the videos, academic videos, and doing the questions and solving the competitive exam questionnaires, all those things which she has made like as a part of her study schedule. So for her it will be easy for to crack those examinations. So focus on systems, not goals. Destiny is something which is the final outcome, but if you really work on the journey which towards this destiny, and you try to make every step a successful one in this journey, the possibility for you to reach to the destination is very, very high. So develop a workout routine instead of just aiming to lose weight. Then the next point is continuous improvement. What do you mean by continuous improvement? It says always seek to improve your habits, never stop refining and improving. Let me put it with example. Gradually increase the difficulty of your workout, which I've just told you, that you cannot go for a workout wherein you are doing 100 push-ups. You cannot do that. When you go, you may be able to do two or three, but eventually you will have to ensure that over a period of time you tend to enhance the frequency of it, and finally you will see that you are going for 100 push-ups. So continuously add new skills to your habit. That is what it is. And the second last point of this book is automation of habits. What it means, it says when you automate your habits to reduce effects, what it help you, it will set systems that require less willpower. So how do you put it in personification? He says use automatic transfers to save money. How do you mean by automatic transfer? Automatic transfer means use GPay, use Paytm. So that will lead to automation of your habit. Schedule regular deliveries of healthy food.